Trump had the most fabulous crash out today at a news conference. And since it's beer o'clock, don't judge me that I'm drinking my porter in a scotch glass. I want to share it with you. Don't worry, I'm going to show you the clip, but I'm also going to be referencing an article from the Politico by Ali Bianco. Let me just read you the first sentence of Ali's article, and then I want to show you the clip because it's so good. Okay, Wall Street has a new shorthand about President Donald Trump, and he is not happy about it.
Mr. President, Wall Street analysts have coined a new term called the taco trade. They're saying Trump always chickens out on your tariff threats, and that's why markets are higher this week. What's your response to that?
I kick out?
Chicken out.
Oh, isn't that nice? Chicken out. I've never heard that. You mean because I reduced China from 145% that I set down to 100 and then down to another number? And I said you have to open up your whole country. And because I gave the European Union a 50% tax tariff, and they called up and they said, please, let's meet right now. Please, let's meet right now. And I said, okay, I'll give you till July 9. I actually asked them, I said, what's the date? Because they weren't willing to meet. And after I did what I did, they said, we'll meet anytime you want. And we have an end date of July 9th. You call that chickening out? Because we have $14 trillion now invested, committed to investing when Biden didn't have practically anything. This country was dying. You know, we have the hottest country anywhere in the world. I went to Saudi Arabia. The king told me. He said, you got the hottest we have the hottest country in the world right now. 6 months ago, this country was stone cold dead. We had a dead country. We had a country people didn't think it was going to survive, and you ask a nasty question like that. It's called negotiation. You set a number. And if you go down, if I set a number at a ridiculous high number and I go down a little bit, they want me to hold that number, 145% tariff. Even I said, man, that really got up. You know how it got? Because of fentanyl and many other things, and you added it up. I said, where are we now? We're at 145%. I said, whoa, that's high. That's high. They were doing no business whatsoever, and they were having a lot of problems. We were very nice to China. I don't know if they're going to be nice to us, but we were very nice to China. And in many ways, I think we really helped China tremendously because, they were having great difficulty because we were basically going cold turkey with China. We were doing no business because of the tariff, because it was so high. But I knew that. But don't ever say what you said. That's a nasty question. Go ahead.
Before I get into all of that butt hurt, I just want to mention that, I took care of my dad with Lewy body dementia for a number of years before he passed away. And lately, there are some hallmarks of the way that Trump appears in press conferences that just really remind me of the cognitive decline that I saw in my dad. It's almost hard for me to put a finger on it, but it's the way his voice is softer than it used to be. It's almost like more whispery. He's not able to articulate as well, and he's not able to project his voice as well. And just the way his speech patterns are, obviously there's some of the typical, Trump speech patterns where he jumps from point to point and it's almost non-linear and it's meant to keep your head spinning. That's very intentional. That's very classic, like narcissistic way of speaking to keep you on your toes, to keep you feeling jostled and like you're having to focus really hard on him to even follow the point that he's making. But there's just something about the way he speaks now that really reminds me of, taking care of somebody with dementia. Obviously, I'm not a physician, but I was a caretaker and I cannot help but notice some things that are very eerily similar between the way Trump is presenting in public and someone with dementia. But now that my neighbor's air conditioner has kicked off and it's going to be quieter, let's get to what Trump said. Of course, he deployed his very stereotypical tactics, calling himself nice. He always loves to frame himself as nice, the best, the nicest. He's so benevolent. Everyone should be so appreciative of all of the good things that he's doing. And then anybody who questions him, like this reporter, and I'm sorry, I haven't been able to find her name. I looked on a few different websites and I've not been able to find her referenced as anything other than a member of the press or a journalist, because I would love to give her credit. I'd love to give her credit for doing good journalism and asking a hard question that she knew was going to draw his ire, that she knew was going to result in him using that word that he loves. He loves to lob at anybody who criticizes him. Nasty. He loves to say, that was nasty. That was a really nasty question. I don't even know who you are. You aren't anybody special. How dare you ask? Don't ever ask me those nasty questions again. That's the way that he responds, because he has such a brittle, fragile ego. He cannot handle any criticism. He cannot handle especially being mocked or ridiculed. That's absolutely what Wall Street is doing when it comes to Trump's tariffs. He thought his tariffs were this great kind of chaotic plan where he could make sure that your head is spinning, that you are feeling unmoored, that you are, and by you, I mean us, the American people, but also the economy and also our trading partners and also the global economy as well, that we are unable to find our footing because it's just this chaotic slapping on tariffs and rolling them back and slapping on and rolling them back. And I wish I had seen this news clip before I saw the news story that a federal court today announced that all of Trump's tariffs are going to be blocked. They're all illegal. He has no legal basis, according to the court, for enacting these tariffs, which are a massive tax on the American people. So after this press conference earlier today and then the news from the court, I can only imagine the level of crash out that he's having this evening. Because what this journalist asked about was the way that Wall Street is making fun of him, what he thought was a big, powerful move to keep everybody on their toes and make sure that everybody paid attention to him. And he thought he was manipulating the markets and controlling everything. No, they're not cowering in fear. They're making fun of him. The reporter asked him about the acronym TACO, Trump always chickens out. Because he slaps on these tariffs and then he pulls them back at the last minute. And then he slaps them on again and pulls them back at the last minute. He thought that was a power move. Wall Street thinks that it's proof that he is a coward. And boy, the journalist asking him about it really, really got his panties in a twist. Don't ever say what you say. That's a nasty question, he told the journalist in response to asking him about the acronym. To me, that's the nastiest question. They will say, oh, he was chicken. That's so unbelievable. I usually have the opposite problem. They say, you're too tough. So the term taco trades was something that was coined by the Financial Times as Wall Street managed to try to figure out how to make any profit off of the chaos of the Trump regime. How does the market adapt to the fact that Trump is slapping on 145% retaliatory tariffs against China in a tit-for-tat escalation, and then very quickly he pulled it all the way back down to 10%. And then just last week, he said he was considering increasing tariffs for goods from the European Union up to 50%, only then a couple of days later to reverse course and say, no, never mind, we'll just do an extension until July. So it's this threat of a big obscene tariff and then pulling it back over and over and over again. He thought that was a power play. Wall Street thinks it's proof that he's a chicken, enough such that they coined an entire acronym. Again, let's not forget a federal court has just ruled that he can't do any of this shit. All of this chaos that he's causing, it's illegal. He's not a king. He's not a Caesar. He's not a monarch. He doesn't have the authority to do this. Keep in mind, tariffs are a tax that the American people pay. Depending on which point in his ever-shifting tariff plan you are looking, it would be the largest single tax ever levied against the American people. It's been devastating for our retirement accounts. It's been devastating for small business owners and large corporations alike. This level of chaos is not indicative of a competent ruler. It's not indicative of somebody who is going to make America great again or improve America at all. You and I know it, and now a journalist just told Trump that all of Wall Street knows it.